Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I am Liz.
And I'm Sonny.
And today we're going to talk about the most beautiful places on Earth.
In our opinions.
In our opinions. Yeah. We travelled the world for a year and we went to how many countries?
32. 32
countries. And obviously that's the question that everyone asks you is like, oh, what was the most beautiful place that you ever went to in the world? You know, what's it? So we thought it would be a fun podcast episode to sit and give our opinions.
Yeah.
So, do you want to shoot it? Go?
Yeah,
I was going to say, do you want to shoot then? And that was a bit weird, but...
So my, the places that I thought were the most
shall we do one
beautiful
each?
in the world. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So at the top of my list, this isn't in an order that I thought was the best. It's just in a list that I wrote them. So the top one is, so the way that I'm going to pronounce this, I don't know if this is the way you pronounce it, but it's in Japan, and it's Yoshino-cho, Yoshino-gun, Yoshino-yama, which is the place which is famous for all the cherry blossom. There wasn't any cherry blossom when we went there, but it was just still so beautiful, just looking at all the rolling hills and imagining them not being green but being bright pink, you know, and it was just like wow. And there was a moment that I told you about the other day, where we were on a train and driving. What would you call it? Training, riding the train. Yeah, at about probably 9 o'clock in the evening, but it was just really like twilight-ish, so it must have been in the summer. And I think it was about that time anyway. But it was just so beautiful. I remember standing on the back of the train, which was going forwards because it was going backwards for some reason, and I just remember thinking, wow, this is like so beautiful, you know, just like it's so incredible. And then the next day we walked up to those steps that went up the mountain, and it was just like, wow, this really is just so, you know, incredible. And there was that little, remember there was almost like a gondola, I think, going up it, but
like
you had to pay for it.
Car thing.
Yeah, we didn't pay for it. We walked up.
No, we'll walk.
No, we'll walk. Do your good exercise. And you remember we walked up through that little village on the hill and bought ice cream from the vending machine. And,
so how do you say it? Yoshino-yama?
Yoshino-cho, Yoshino-gun, Yoshino-yama.
I think it was just Yoshino-yama, wasn't it? That's what they said.
Yeah, Yoshino-yama.
And people came from all over the world to see these cherry blossoms on these hills, didn't they?
Yeah, and it really was quite beautiful because we went up and sat in that graveyard, which is a weird place to have lunch, but it was like nice, didn't it? We sat
it was.
Not in the graveyard, but just behind it, in the trees surrounding it.
We were actually in the cherry trees. That's why we walked up to the top of there because...
but we went off the track a bit, didn't we?
Yeah.
And when we went and saw those cherry blossoms, it was really quite amazing. Very. So that's my top place. Well, not top place, but top on the list that I wrote. In Japan, I've got another one in Japan, but I'll say that in a minute when you've said yours.
All right. Excuse me. My most beautiful... it's a hard one, isn't it? Because when people go, oh, yeah, what's the most beautiful places you've ever been to? Sometimes you can go to, like, the middle of a city and just say, this is just beautiful. And other times you can go to, like, the most gorgeous beach in the world and think that's beautiful. But I've sort of tried to give, you know, a bit of a variation, Sonny, actually. So my first one, guess...
Ooh.
Which is my favourite country in the world?
India, so it's going to be the Taj Mahal?
No, it was in Udaipur in India. So Udaipur is in the western state of Rajasthan. See, I've done my homework, Sonny.
You have?
And it is a city filled with artificial lakes. Did you know they're artificial? Because I didn't actually know that. I thought they were...
Yeah, because we went up and they had all the dams and stuff, remember?
Yeah.
I
That's right,
I didn't actually know they were artificial, but I knew that they were controlled.
And it's got a lot of royal residences there. Residencies there. And it's just the most gorgeous city. I just absolutely loved it there. was that the place where we couldn't get an Uber into the city? They had to like drop you off on the outside of the city, and you just.
No, that was Jodhpur.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It just felt like a really safe little. It was big. It's big, but it's just. It was around the lakes, and there was just those little bridges going over the lakes.
Yeah.
And there was lots and lots of tiny little winding streets with loads of people at the side of the roads in their shops. Not I don't mean like shacks. I mean proper shops. Lovely cafes.
Yeah.
Just beautiful buildings. And every night, do you remember we climbed up to that backpackers where it was the best sunset in Udaipur.
Yeah.
And do you remember that night when we climbed up there?
Yeah,
and it was just. Oh. Just her. So, I wonder who that is. Might be the. Hey?
It's your mum.
Oh no, we won't.
That's a shout out to our grandma who's probably going to watch this. Don't call us when we're podcasting. We do love you, but don't call us. No, you can call us.
So yeah, we walked up to the top of that, and it was just. I think you had a milkshake and something. We had a beer.
Yeah.
And, it was just gorgeous. The sun was setting, and everything was pink. All the cities had like this pink light about them. And why are you looking confused like that?
I'm trying to think what milkshake I had.
I think you had like this. It was an expensive one. I remember we pushed the boat out that day.
Yeah.
Like you have a night for walking up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
75 cents today.
Oh, and it was just gorgeous. And the people in Udaipur are very, very friendly as well.
Yeah. In all of India, they're friendly, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
They're when you talk to them. They always look a bit unfriendly when they kind of stand there and look at you, but that's only because they're interested, you know. But when someone stares at you in Western culture, it's like a bit of a, you know, why are you staring at me?
Yeah.
But in India, it's just they're inquisitive, and then as soon as you talk to them, you find out that they're really, really nice.
No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it there. And like I say, just the little winding streets and. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It sort of felt
very unique, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it sort of felt a little bit like I don't want to go. Oh, it felt European, but it sort of reminded me of that. Yeah. Why are you sitting? Are we slouching?
No, I'm just.
All right, you sort of looked at me then and went like that and sat up straight.
First time we've ever filmed a podcast. So.
Yes, this is different for us because we've never filmed it, have we? So there's Brian on the sound. So yeah, go on.
Okay, so
can I just ask you, when you do film the podcast, do you sort of like feel a little bit like you should be sort of like smiling for the camera? Or are you being yourself, Sonny?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay. All right, then go. What's your third most beautiful place on earth?
Second, for me.
Yeah.
So one of my most beautiful places on earth is. Should I go with Japan or just go to?
No, you've already done Japan.
I've got another one in Japan. That's the only thing. But I'll do France now. I'll go Mont Blanc. Is that how you say it? They made fun of me when I was writing my list because I put Mont Blanc instead of Mont Blanc.
Yeah, it's Mont Blanc. Yeah, no. What we made fun of you of because you said, "Oh, my favourite place is Mont Blanc," and I said, "Well, you can't just say that. Whereabouts? Which city? What town were we in? Where were we?"
No, just the mountain. I like the mountain.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I just remember driving up to the mountain in the car on the way to France.
The Mont.
The Blanc. And I just remember seeing it. I almost didn't see it at first because it was just in the distance, and then it kind of just appeared all of a sudden. It was massive, and I was just like, "Oh my god, wow!" And it was very looming. You know, it was just like coming and you driving towards it. And I just remember thinking, "Wow, this is really beautiful," and it drew my attention away from Netflix, and it was just like, "Wow, you know, this is quite amazing." And you looked up and you saw like little castles and stuff, and what do you call them, chateaus?
Chateaus, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, wow, this is like nothing. You'd think you would see it in New Zealand with all the mountains, but it was just a bit different. There was almost like a feel of like it was an old mountain rather than that fresh feeling of the New Zealand Alps and stuff.
They're massive as well, aren't they, the Alps?
The New Zealand Alps?
No, the French Alps when you're driving
That's
along,
what I meant, yeah. They're
just
like you just... And they all of a sudden just seem to just start, which is weird, you know. There's not even like a bit of like a build-up to them. It's just like, boom, they're there like a wall of mountain. It's quite crazy.
Do you know what tainted that little road trip for me a little bit, Sonny?
Okay, I've got a good bet. It's either Netflix, being on our phones, what was it then?
Well, Brian said, we're going to do this detour and we're going to go through this tunnel and it's not going to cost us any money because if we go this way, then it's not going to cost us any money. Do you remember?
15 euros.
No. Sonny, no. And
How
we
much then?
drove and...
16?
No, you wait until you're here. We drove and drove and drove. Do you remember, right? And we got there, and he's like, oh, we're in the wrong place. This is the tunnel you've got to pay for. And we're like, well, we've been driving for hours. Do you not remember that?
The man that circumnavigated the world somehow got lost.
And it
had to go through
actually
a tunnel.
cost us, Sonny, it cost us about $100. €80 to go through a tunnel. I couldn't enjoy it, Sonny. I couldn't just then shake it off and think, oh well, Liz, doesn't matter because at least you're going through this wonderful tunnel because
Because of the money.
It was €80.
Yeah,
What a rip-off.
It saved about 7 hours of driving. So
See, got lost. We got lost, but we
Yeah.
saved 7 hours of driving.
Yeah.
we were on a time schedule. We had to be at the house.
Yeah.
So it was a house set, wasn't it?
We were going
So,
to a house.
did
sit.
we get lost then?
No. I just.
So he's never going to admit to that.
Just did.
Say no, he's saying you did it on
we get there on time?
purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, and it cost us €80. So all that money we saved on house sitting, it was like we could have stayed in a really nice hotel.
You wouldn't
Not for
have
€80.
You
Yeah,
would have enjoyed the trip if I told you at the
for
start.
a couple of nights or whatever. Anyway, go on then. What's your... Oh, it's my turn. And so is that it then?
So yeah, just the amazing mountains, just how they just appeared, and it was just like, wow.
So
there's
say it one more
Mont
time then.
Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc.
That's it, Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc.
There was a little pen shop there as well, wasn't there?
Mont Blanc pens. Not sponsored.
Right, my second place, my most beautiful place on earth, has got to be Porthcurno in Cornwall in England. Holds a bit of a special... Why are you looking confused?
Trying to remember
Every
where
time
it
I
was.
say something, look, when you're saying that, I'm like
Yeah, the-
looking
the
really
place with the
interested.
chimney.
Pardon?
The place with the little chimney on the...
No.
Okay. I was going to say. But,
That was where was that? That's St Agnes. Oh, I've just remembered another place, Tintagel
Well,
as well. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm
say
going to
what
stick
we've
to
got.
stick to Porthcurno. Porthcurno is the one with the amphitheatre cut into the cliff, where literally you can go and watch theatre, and in the distance you can see the dolphins jumping. It is
have
just.
we been there? I don't think I went there, did I? I've not been there.
Did we not take them? Oh no, we didn't
No,
take you.
I've not been there.
You weren't
It's like it's
worthy.
confused. Why are you confused? I didn't
Remember?
go. It's like, cost too much. Go and see a show.
Oh, Sonny, if only you'd been there. It's the most beautiful place on earth. So anyway, yeah,
Top
if
of
you
my
ever get
list.
down to Cornwall, go to Porthcurno. It's just, the sea is, you've got to go and see a show there as well. And I know we didn't take you and stuff, but you sit there. Oh, why didn't we take you? Why didn't we take him,
So there was
Brian?
4 of us, not 2.
Because it was the end of the season, really. That's why.
Mm.
And
So you watch shows on the sea?
No. So the theatre is cut into a cliff, right on the edge of the cliff. And and then imagine so you've got the theatre that comes around like that, and then you've got the stage at the bottom,
Yeah.
and the backdrop. So they don't have any backdrops on the stage. The backdrop is that it? The
Yeah.
backdrop is the sea and the cliff, and so whatever play they're doing, that is always the same backdrop.
I don't know
Let
if
me
you
have a
can
look at the
see
picture.
that.
Let me see. Yeah, see? So that's where they do the play, and it's just gorgeous. Mwah. It's lovely. No, it is. Porthcurno in Cornwall. Right, go on next then. Mind you, what you're doing with that picture, Sonny, 'cause that's valuable.
Yes, we know you just kissed it. Okay, so the next one is in Vietnam. And this is my chow.
Oh. See, look, I'm not going to you. What?
Because you
I
went
said-
there.
I
You
said,
actually went there,
wow.
that's why. So it was beautiful. It was like in a basin of hills, wasn't it? And it was just massive like hills surrounding it, and then like just flat paddy fields, really flat paddy fields in the base of the... It wasn't a bowl, it was just like a big... What would you call it? Not even a valley, because it wasn't a valley. It was just like a...
Yeah, it is. It's a valley.
No, because a
isn't it?
valley's
Big
like
hills
that, but
either
it was
side.
like this. It was like a big...
Yeah.
a big bowl, and it was just really quite amazing because and all the hills, is what I was saying yesterday, all the hills are like little bumps, little marshmallows, so they're not like normal rolling hills. It was just like up, over, down, up, over, down, up, over, down in like little lumps, and it was just really quite amazing to see because it was like you'd never seen terrain formation like that before. But yeah, no, all the paddy fields are really nice and all the little stilt houses. And I remember being terrified, though, of thinking of going and staying in a stilt house. Because how horrible does that sound? Like, today we're going to go and stay in a stilt house.
That doesn't sound horrible. That sounds
like something
exciting.
from the 12th century. No, it wasn't.
But how cool were those houses? Sonny?
In the day, they were nice, but when you were laying in them awake at night because you couldn't sleep, or the hard floors. But no, they were nice. They were cool. Yeah.
So you
but
turned
I
up-
didn't like it for the stilt houses, but I liked it for the scenery.
Right. The scenery of the countryside.
Yeah.
That's where we took that picture of the lady throwing out the rice in the paddy field, wasn't it?
No, that was no, that was the other place. That was Ho Chi Minh. You remember with the big like Hollywood sign? I should have said there actually because that was quite cool as well.
That was fun.
Phang Nga, that was there. Remember we went.
Come on, stay on track.
But yeah.
There's one where you did a drone shot of her doing that, and then there was the one when we were on the bikes, we stopped the bikes and your mum went over and took a picture.
Excuse me, can I take a picture?
Yeah, but do you remember we got all those bikes and it was really quite cool just riding the bikes through the paddy fields and stuff.
My chair, and I agree with you there, and it was like stepping back in time. You all right there, Sonny? Having a little chocolate? Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm not going to say I didn't like about it, but the only thing that I was felt a bit funny about was those cockfighting. Remember? They had like those big things set up in the middle of the village, and it's where they did all the cockfighting.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't actually see a cockfight, but it was just like, to know that was going on made me feel a bit.
Remember there was that youth camp as well over the way. And they're blasting their music, and you'd hear it through the whole valley because of the way the sound travelled.
Yeah.
And you just hear, at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was just like, oh my God, why are you listening to English music? It's weird. Like, you'd think they'd be listening to Vietnamese music, where there was all these English hit songs, but not like, anyway. But it was really beautiful. That's my third place. So what's your third place?
My third place, where can I go? I've got another one, but you haven't been there, so I'm not going to use that one either. So I'm going to go to Florence in Italy.
Florenza. That was it. France, more French.
Yeah, wasn't it? It was rubbish.
It's like Florenza.
Firenze. There you go. Oh, Bri, well done. Yeah, Firenze in
Italy.
Yeah. In fact, we had this conversation last night at dinner, and I said, in all of the world, Italy. Sonny, stop looking at me like that, as if sit up straight, you little slob. In all of the world, Italy. Oh, it's got to be the most beautiful place ever. But anyway, we're not doing that. We're doing beautiful place on earth, and Firenze is one of them. Florence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ask me whereabouts in Florence, Sonny, instead of looking at your papers.
Lizzie?
Pardon?
Whereabouts in Florence?
Whereabouts in Florence?
Yeah, whereabouts.
Right, okay. San Miniato al Monte. San Miniato al Monte. It's the highest point in the city of Florence.
Did we go there?
Yes.
Is that little church up on the hill?
Yeah. Wasn't that... We climbed up there, actually we parked and then we walked. Do you remember? We got that free parking space and we couldn't believe it. It was like, because we were there at 6 o'clock in the morning, weren't we?
Taking the priest's parking space.
Because we'd been kicked out the house surfing and couch surfing, and it was like, okay, let's go up there. And you drive up, and then there's a parking lot at the bottom, and there's only room for about 4 or 5 cars, so you've got to be there super early, but it's free. And then once you're there, you can walk down through the woods into the city. It's just divine. And that church, and shall I tell you something about that church, Sonny?
Yep.
Guess who's buried in the graveyard?
Michelangelo?
No.
Leonardo da Vinci?
No. Pinocchio's dad.
What, is that funny? Pinocchio's dad, hang on, he was...
The creator of Pinocchio.
Oh,
is
so not
buried.
actually Pinocchio's dad.
Well, no, because Pinocchio wasn't real, Sonny.
Oh yeah, he wasn't.
Giuseppe's
So you mean Pinocchio's author then?
No, Pinocchio's creator, the creator.
Yeah, so not his dad then.
Yeah. Well,
Because when you think of Pinocchio's dad, you think of that little woodcarver in the Disney film. And I think that Pinocchio wasn't real, but no. Yeah.
He was very real, actually, and his dad is up there in the graveyard, buried. So you can. Why are you looking? Why did you go like that when you looked at me as if like? I've got
Wiped my mouth.
Yeah, but you keep looking at
We're
my
not
mouth
filming
as
this
if-
ever again. This is awful.
So yeah,
Why
go
are
up,
teenagers so self-conscious these days?
go up to this church and just look over. Do you remember looking over the city at 7 o'clock in the morning?
With the bell ringing.
Yeah, sun was just coming up. And do you know what? It was like something out of a film. Because do you remember?
Like Pinocchio.
It was like something out of a film because we crept into the church. Well, we didn't creep in because we were allowed in there.
Stole the priest's parking space.
Crept into
Gave our good wishes to Pinocchio's father, and then crept into a church at 6 o'clock in the morning.
We crept into the church, and there was a. I don't know what the. Forgive me because I don't know if that church is. Would it be Catholic or?
Yes, just about.
Yes. Okay. So and they.
Catholic.
Yeah, Roman Catholic, and he had a long robe on. Do you remember? And he had long, flowing white hair. And he was like walking along like this through this. Do you remember there was those like big slabs on the church, and they were like ancient. Remember, shiny stones, and they were huge. And he's like walking along. Oops, he's walking along, and his flowing and everything. And we were like, oh, it was like something. It was literally like something out of a
Film. Yeah. Like the Tudors or
not
something.
out of a horror film, Sonny.
No. Well, I don't know. With his long white hair silently bobbing through the church.
Oh, how much time have we got left, Brian?
Right, we've
Okay.
still got a few.
We'll do one and then we'll do part 2 because I've got loads more to tell you. So we'll do it in 2 parts.
So shall I save mine then? Because I've only
No,
got.
you go now.
I've
You
got
can do-
1, 2, 3.
It depends how long you've
I got 2 more. I'm gonna do those now. 2
Well,
more.
shall we just do one more and then you can do another one because you've got some loads more
Okay,
than that.
so
And then we'll do part 2.
I'm gonna go with Scotland, Banchory. Is it a city or a village? What would you say?
The small town.
Town?
It's a town, yeah. So Banchory Town, or just Banchory, was a really nice place where our cousins, well, your cousins,
And yours.
second cousins, I think,
Yeah.
live, and it's just really quite pretty. It was just like a little English town, how an English town would have been, you know, when it had.
Excuse me, it's
less-
Scottish?
Yes, but it's like if I say, "Oh, a little Scottish town," everyone's gonna think of a little house on a hill by a cliff
You can't
with
say
wind.
a town in Scotland is English.
No, I'm saying it's like a little English town.
okay.
Like it looks like a little English town from Downton Abbey when it would have been with lots of trees and park greens and stuff. Because there's not as many people living there.
Yeah.
And it's quite a rich place, isn't it?
It
like
is,
a lot
yeah.
of wealthy
Isn't
people.
that where the Queen goes to do her fishing and stuff? Don't royalty go there? And
She goes
Fly
to
fishing?
Balmoral.
it's an expensive
Balmoral's
place.
But we did
isn't it?
fly fish there.
Yeah, you did. You did
was
some
really quite
fabulous
cool.
things there. So just describe what it looks like when you drive into.
Drive into it or to it?
Drive to. Oh, yeah.
The drive to it was
drive
nice,
to
wasn't it? Yeah, it was just like driving through a load of woods, and it was like driving through lots of trees, and then you'd come across and go across a little stone bridge, and then you'd come across these big, like bare hills and stuff and valleys, and you know it was really just quite an ever-changing scenery, and yeah, you just drive down into it, and it's just lots of nice. Because it was almost like autumny there, wasn't it? Or no, it
yeah,
wasn't
we
autumn
went
there.
in.
Was
No,
it?
we
Was
went
it?
in September.
Yeah, and
or October.
and everything was just quite golden and green, and it was just really nice. It was really pretty. I really liked it for some reason. It just felt really safe and tranquil there. Never had really good night's sleeps because I can't remember. I just remember like in the day it was just so nice and stuff. And yeah.
Why didn't you have good night's sleep?
I honestly can't remember the reason why. I think it was maybe.
I know why.
Why?
Too much time on the screen.
No signal in Banchory was not having the Wi-Fi password, but no, I think it was really quite one of my favourite places was definitely
Yeah.
Scotland and Banchory.
Do you remember when we had those fish and chips from the Fisher in?
No, that was Ireland.
No, but we did have fish and chips in Scotland. Remember? We went down to the fish and chip shop in the little village there.
Me and Tess went and got them, I think.
Hmm.
So you mean you would have gone?
Did we? No. Well, they were really nice.
Do you know what I
Everything.
loved about Scotland, about Banchory, was the colours. It was like,
yeah.
yeah.
The oranges and the greens and stuff.
Yeah. And do you remember Will took us to that castle, that little castle?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well, not even a castle. It was just like a little, what was it, like a little lookout
No,
wasn't
no,
it?
I'm not talking about the one up on the hill. He
Oh,
actually
right.
took us to the
Oh,
castle.
that castle. Yeah.
In the gardens, and everything was like orange and auburn and deep red and
Really
burnt.
was nice, wasn't
yeah, it's just lovely, wasn't it? Scotland, a little bit like Ireland, Scotland just feels earthy, just deep, you know? How do you
yeah.
explain that? Do you get that when you...
Just very rustic and old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just stirs something in you, doesn't it? I think that's because my granddad was Scottish, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, so shall we leave it there because it's getting a bit long?
Yep.
And we'll do a part 2. And you can go and do a little bit more research than you've got on there, young man, because look at all my places. And Sonny's only written down 4 little lines.
Okay, so, right, that was it then. Thank you so much for listening. Come back for part 2. I won't do a long outro because you can probably just go and listen and now watch part 2.
Are we going to record the next one? Video?
Yeah, I guess you'd have to, wouldn't you? Otherwise it'd
yeah.
be a bit weird. But yeah, all right. So thanks so much for listening, guys,
you.
and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. We have loved having you here.
If you guys could subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review,
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
that would be absolutely amazing. And make sure to share the podcast with your friends.
And if you'd like to hop over to the blog, find one of the little boxes that ask you to drop your email. I will send you a newsletter every week letting you know when we've released our new podcast. That will go
that'll be nice.
straight into your inbox. So it's www.itsadrama.com.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week for another podcast.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.